Hey, BassGeek here, and with all these crazy new hairy, tentacled baits, I came up with a rig that you're not gonna believe. So I've seen all these YouTube channels coming out with their own, like making their own hairy dice or hairy jigs or this, that, or the other. Well, I came up with a rig. I bought these baits in Knoxville from Niko baits quite a while back, and I didn't really understand or didn't really know how I was going to use them until I started seeing all the craze over the hairy dice. So I started putting a little rig together that I was wanting to try out. And man, this thing's got flash, it's got subtle movement, and you can rig it 2 or 3 different ways. I'm gonna show you the 2 ways I rig it and the one that's really been getting me some big bites today. So what am I talking about? Well, the first component of this rig is a bait that I kind of stumbled across about 3 years ago at the Knoxville Fishing Show and Expo. And I was really looking for something like, the hairy dice really intrigued me, but I don't fish a lot of drop shot, and that's kind of the best way to fish those. I was looking for something a little more that I could fish in open water, suspended. You can fish this on a drop shot too, and it's great on a drop shot. It's how most people actually do fish it. But I was looking for something a little more for that open water that had the tentacles to it, had a little bit of movement, or if you just swam it, or a little bit crazy. And so you geeks know I'm a big fan of Niko baits, and that's when I ran across this right here. This is the octopus. This is a 3.5 inch, and it is actually the stretchy material too. So like, you're not going to tear off the legs. Bluegills aren't going to tear off the legs for it, or they're gonna have to have some really sharp teeth bluegills. They may be piranhas where you're fishing if they tear their legs off these. But all that being said, when I first seen this, I thought, man, this is perfect for what I'm wanting to do. So I picked up several different colors, and the bad news is I don't know what half of them are because they're in a different language, and I can't read them. So the ones I can read, I'll show you. This is one of my very favorite colors right here, and I think this may even glow in the dark, but it's kind of a milky white. Just a good looking color, good go-to color. It's kind of toned down, so it's not like a pearl. Good in clear water. This is one of the colors that I cannot read right here, but it's a good looking kind of purple. Again, another matte style color. Another great color, and this is UV Holo Flake. Just in case you don't know, there is a color number right here. So if you go to the website, you may be able to find it based on the color number. I'm not sure about that, but maybe that'll help. This color is basically, it's like a pink and red flake. Now, these two actually have the names on here. This is Green Gold Flake, and this is Bait Fish Blue. So you can rig this a lot of different ways. A lot of guys drop shot it, it's the way to do it. But when it comes to those dice and a lot of those, really about the only way that you can rig them. I mean, you can rig them on a few different things, but a lot of it involves being close or near the bottom. I wanted to find a bait that I could use kind of like a jig head minnow, show those bass something that they're not seeing. And that really is something that they're not seeing out there, especially when you're shaking it, the way those tentacles are. And so the way I originally rigged this was like this. So since it's the stretchy plastic, I would take something like a Queen's tackle head. There is a hole in the top. And what I do is I just come straight down. And of course it's open all the way through. If we can get the tentacles out of the way. And you just come straight out. You slide the bait all the way up. Might even put you a dab of glue on it. And there you have it. Something extremely different. Another way that I like to rig it, now this is when I'm not looking for a whole lot of action, because believe it or not, I mean, you still get a good action out of the tentacles, but they stay a little bit together. They don't stick together or anything. That's, for sure. But the next, I love to rig it with the Omega hookup head. Now this has a stinger hook on it. And one of the things I love to do is put one of these on it. So I'll replace that hook, and this is a treble spin from VMC. So you get a little bit of flash out of it too. And you just do the same exact thing You just come right through the hole. Come right out the bottom. If I can pull first. And then shove the head up on there. Now again, you might need a touch of glue. But what you can then do is you can come right down here and find that bottom tentacle and just puncture it. And there you have a little stinger hook. Now, like I said, you put that blade on there and you've got a little blade that trails. So the very first thing you do is you put a couple of bobber stops on and you just pull it off. Now you got one on. I put two on because I like to be sure. There you go. So we got two on there. Be sure that it doesn't slide around. Now we're gonna run those up the line a little bit. Then we're gonna get our octopus. And this can be a little tough. There we go. And then you'll come out the other side with a little bit of trial and error. Just slide that up. Now you grab the weight that you want. This is a 3/8 ounce angler tungsten weight. Just a little bullet weight. I like the flipping weights for these a little bit better. And you'll just run that down. We'll fix that in just a minute. Now you grab your treble spin. And basically I'm just gonna tie a pit seam knot on here. Ooh, wrapped it a few too many times, but that's okay. We're gonna come right down here and go through our loop. And then we'll just pull that down, wet it just a little, cinch it up, cut that tag end off. Now what we do, we just set that down. Go ahead and push the bait down, the bobber stops down, and we get that weight good and wedged up in our octopus, which spreads those tentacles out just a little bit. And then we push our bobber stop down. So our bobber stops hang in there, and there you have it. Now what's great about this is, again, probably wouldn't fish this around wood. You can shake it in the water column. You can drop it to the bottom and hop it because it'll come right down and set. Around rock, it's going to be real good, but like I said, probably not around wood, not around grass, because you've got a treble hook in there. So around rock, riprap, open water, you got to see this puppy in action. Now geeks, this is a rod you really need to check out. This is my rod reel and line setup for this little bait. And this is newly redesigned Douglas era rods. ERA, by the way. These are a $100 price point rod. And I mean to tell you, they are freaking nice. They also have what you can use them for. Just a suggestion, you'll notice I'm not using it for a Ned rig or drop shot. But again, you can drop shot these. So close enough, right? So this is a 610. This is their drop shot Ned rig. This is a 610 medium fast. I do believe it is the 56103 XF. So anyway, that'll tell you, look it up on their website just to be sure. But links will be in the description for this. And we've got it teamed up with a Daiwa Fuego reel. And of course, as always, 10-pound high-vis yellow braid from Canine Fishing. And we've got the 8-pound test Pro 100 fluorocarbon. Geeks, you need to try the braid and you need to try the Pro 100 100% fluorocarbon, 10% discount right here. So like I said, there's a couple of different ways to fish this. One of the ways is you can just take it down a rocky bank like you see behind us and just work it down. It's great when it hits the bottom, and those, because it's made of that stretchy, floaty plastic, those tentacles will just curl up. And really gets those bass attention. Now, of course, what I really started fishing this for was those open water bass. And what I like to do, of course, is find them, throw it out there. When you shake this bait, it has got some incredible action in that flutter as it pops up, because it's not a jig head minnow. It'll pop up, and then when it falls, it'll spread out. So it'll pull together and spread out. That's what I like about it. It gets those bass's attention. It's a little bit different than anything else that they're seeing out there. Hint, hint, the smallmouth lure. Like I said, there's a ton of different ways to fish this bait, so you should go check that out. Now, when it comes to hook set, it is a treble hook. So, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to straight up hook, and I'm going to get down as quick as I can. Because those treble hooks, we all know, bass love to throw them. So, just make sure you're keeping that bass's head down and in water until you get them to the boat. Or it's a dink boat hopping, but again, a treble hook, I don't recommend sticking your thumb in its mouth. Get a net. If you have to, just make sure it's a big enough bass to where you got plenty of room to get that thumb in there. You know what I'm saying? Get it away from that treble hook. If you want to see another Niko rig bait, I'm telling you, this is incredible, and it is incredible in the spring right now. You need to make sure you go check out this video right here. Otherwise, questions, comments in the comment section below. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. Be part of the 100% Watch Squad. You geeks have blown it up for us, and you geeks rock.